What up? Welcome to AM Reviews. I am Angelina Maria. This is the fourth episode, and in this episode, I will be discussing The Oval, Season 6, Episode 2, Zatima, Season 3, Episode 17 and 18, and Sistas, Season 8, Episode 14. Y'all, I'm gonna be honest, I really created this podcast just so I could talk about sisters, amongst other things. Anyway, let's get into it. First on the docket is The Oval. I have quite a few thoughts on it. First off, Little Miss Nancy. I'm gonna say this. Her first of all, I guess finding out alcohol for the first time or drinking alcohol for the first time, honestly, in my opinion, was one of the most hilarious things in all my days. Sis was like, "What is this?" And then Dale was like, "Vodka." And she was like, "I know that." Like, okay, then why you ask? Like, then it was like she had never had it and then got uber drunk and then Lord, let me not put a narrative out there that ain't true. But apparently linked up with some man somehow. And Sam walked in on it. But it was the funniest thing for her to just be such a novice when it comes to alcohol, because it's like, you cheating on your husband with his daddy, but you don't know what vodka is? You ain't never drank wine before? And we gonna do the baby sin, which is drinking. That. Anyway, moving on. Speaking of people cheating on their husbands. That brings me right on to Simone. I'm gonna say this. Ladies, a woman could do the same thing to a man that men do to women. Like, we quick to be like, oh, a man did this to me, a man did that. That man don't want her. Like, Bobby do not want Simone. He don't want Simone. She like, well, you can't resist yourself, baby. That's a chemical reaction. Okay? That's a physical reaction. That does not mean mentally he wants you. Guess what? Your body has a physical reaction, which means if you do certain things to it, it will respond in the natural way. That's it. That's what'll happen. Sorry, y'all. It'll respond in the natural way. Like, if you touch a man or you touch a woman in a certain way, that don't mean they like it. That don't mean they want it. It'll just respond. I'm just saying. That's just how the body works. He said, what are you and what is this? I ain't trying to be on that. We got to stop this. He's repeatedly resisting her and telling her we got to stop this. She told this man, I'm your new stock and I own you. Simone, he don't want you. And then gonna tell him, because I had to do a little backtrack and watch the last few episodes of season 5. You talking about some don't be jealous. You ain't got the right to be jealous. All the while you jealous of Priscilla, which I'm going to get to her in a minute. But all the while you jealous of Priscilla. Talking about some he can't be with Priscilla no more. And he told her, you got a husband. What you talking about? Baby, Simone, I'm not a fan. I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan of the woman. Anyway, speaking of somebody else I'm not a fan of. Mr. Jason, I'm going to be honest. I do think he make a good villain, just like his mama. He is definitely his mama's son. The fact that he sat in Priscilla's face, he is wild. Like, so you finna go there and do the do with my daddy? You finna do nasty with my daddy? I would love to see you crack them cheeks. Like, he just talking wild to this lady. He's like, well, at least I'm alive. And she was like, well, that's more than what I could say for Jean. And then he like, yeah, my mama did that. So your mama took her panacea, male genitalia, being that it's your mother, born a female, took male genitalia, S8 this lady, and then offed her. And then hit her under your bed. That's what took place. Okay, Jason, fine. That's what you say, babe. If that's what you say. And then it's like, he texts me, like, that boy crazy. That boy gone just like his mama. Like, they love chaos. They love chaos. Like, Victoria makes, in my opinion, one of the best villains, because she loves chaos. It's just, she gonna keep it up. Like, when she was in the office with Donald, and I know people's names in this episode, y'all. Donald and Eli talking about some, yeah, so how is your beard? Like, girl, you do the most. She do the most. But anyway, moving on to my girl Priscilla, who is actually my favorite. I love how, like I said, the last episode, Bobby and Sam was like, you ain't going nowhere. You know, I probably didn't say that because I didn't know nobody named last episode. I don't know what happened. But anyway, they was like, you ain't going nowhere. And Sam still was on that. Like, they had to send him home. How he walked in on Nancy. They had to send him home, but like, bro, you got to go. Like, you doing the most. Like, we gotta let her do what she gonna do. And I love how she like was, you know, having pillow talk with Hunter and just kind of getting him to let his guard down a little bit. Do I think she's actually gonna ever do anything with that man? No. I know she said she promised, but I feel like by the time it'll be time for that promise, that man gonna be in handcuffs and some more stuff. I do not think she's ever gonna make good on that promise. Priscilla is too the way she moved is very calculated, and I can't see her being like goofy enough or just like sleeping with him just to get back at her husband. I do think she's gonna play the game and still divorce that man. Like, they getting a divorce, pretty much. That's what I believe. But anyway, moving on to Zatima, season 3, episode 17-18. I call it the love episodes. It was a lot of making up. It was a lot of forgiving and things like that. The first is, and a lot of communication. The first was Zach and Fatima, like when they had sat up in the bed and like kind of had that conversation. And Zach was like, these are the things I want you to work on, or this is what I feel like you should work on. Crystal Gems and Fatima fans. Before y'all jump down Zach's throat and before y'all be about ready to beat up the Val, calm down. He did not say she was insecure. He never said that. He said she can be, as in she may carry a trait or two of insecurity. I agree. And the reason why I say that is because Karen would pop up at the house unannounced and call her the B word. Karen never got off that one trick because she knew that one trick was enough to spiral Fatima. And I'm going to use Danny just for instance in this, in comparison, in contrast. When it came to Tiffany trying to, you know, get trying to get Tony back, or trying to make Danny feel insecure when it come to Tony, like I still got my nails in him or whatever. She tried a multitude and none of them worked. She had to keep trying different tricks because the one none of them working. The first one was like lying, saying she was the wife. He was like, nah, you the ex-wife. And then the next one was, oh, let's have a dinner but not invite Danny. No, the next one was babysit the kids but at his mama's house. That didn't work. Then the next one was have a dinner and don't invite Danny. That didn't work. Then the next one was, after that, she popped up to Danny's house unannounced with the vape. True, you could have gave the vape to him and let him handle that, but you wanted to like be in her house, see her court, like you wanted to check her woman to woman, and that didn't work. Thomas, I was married to him for 11 years and the way he is with kids. She was like, see, that's the thing, you keep forgetting the ex part. Y'all not married, that's my man, da-da-da-da-da. I see why he left you. Like, that didn't work. And after that didn't work, then she's sitting in her chest. That did not work. Nothing she did work. She had to keep trying different tricks to throw Danny off and one none working. She wasn't getting the response. If you pay attention, Danny was calm in every response. So nothing was working. So she had to keep trying, oh, I know me half naked, it's gonna work. That still didn't work. Danny still was calm in that response. He was the one that was flustered and angry because she understood who the anger was to be at. It's at her because she knows she's out of place. She met me and knows that I am your woman and she keep playing these games. It ain't cute, you know? And I think when he was saying like she can be insecure, he's not saying she's insecure. But the reason why Karen was able to get a rise out of Fatima is because he initially would talk about Karen, he just didn't say her name, and she knew that was still there in the background lingering. Now, do I think that Fatima has insecurity when it comes to Karen? No. Do I think Fatima think that Karen could come through and take Zach? No. But do I think she may feel away? Yes. But moving on. Zach and Jeremiah, his brother, I am grateful for their... By grateful, I mean more so glad that they actually made up and we could see a side of possibly Jeremiah like getting healthy, getting off drugs, and even just like him having a brother bond. Because to be honest, Zach don't have a brother bond. He don't at all. So I was just kind of glad to see that Zach made peace and did a lot of good communicating over the past 2 episodes. Also, Zach and Bryce. I'm so glad they had that conversation. He was like, bro, we passed the kids. We passed the money. That got figured out. We good. We Gucci. Like, we could joke. We could this. We could that. I'm just so glad about that. That we finally passed all that. Like, he made up with his brother. He made up with Bryce. It is what it is. And we can all move on. Kumbaya, if you will. Last but not least on Zatima. And then I'm going to move on. Tima helping Angela via Malachi, my bad, not Michael, it's a whole different biblical name. Anyway, so, Angela got some videos on the internet, on the interwebs, because Bryce got hacked. And now we need Mr. Malachi, Mr. FBI, who's still in love with Fatima, to help out. Now, mind you, I feel for Lindsay a little bit, and I'm getting to why. So she don't want to talk to Malachi, whatever. So they're at Angela's house, talking, drinking, whatever, shooting the breeze. He come in, he's still talking about how he in love with her. He starts to unbutton his shirt. Why are you getting naked, sir? We don't know. This man got this woman tattooed on his chest. I feel so bad for Lindsay. Lindsay or Leslie? I'm going to call Little Miss L. Little Miss L, because it might be Leslie. Oh, Lord, child. Here we go. Back not remembering people's names. Anyway, her, the wife of Malachi. First of all, that girl, Fatima need better friends. She don't know how to pick a friend. Like, Belinda was never your friend. Little Miss L was never your friend. Angela, I don't think is that great of a friend. But meanwhile, you got Danny and you got Connie, I feel like will be really good friends to her. And she reject them because they're not packaged and they're not polished the way she wants them to be. But them I feel like is your real friends. But I digress. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Anyway. So it's like, I feel for her though. Because can you imagine taking your husband? Because this is the thing. When they started messing around, he was dating Fatima. And them two were still friends. But he didn't have that tattoo. Which means he had to get that tattoo somewhere down in their relationship, possibly even in their marriage. So you can't imagine taking your husband's clothes off and he didn't have this tattoo when you first got with him or when you first married him, and now you got a tattoo of a whole nother woman's face on his chest. Child. Anyway, moving on to Sistas. I got a few things. It's mostly going to be heavily geared towards one person and one thing, but still. Penelope. Baby, Gary is the problem. Stop blaming Andy. Stop coming at Paul Autry. Robin, he trying to get you off. Gary is the problem. You was warned. You was warned by the entire sister circle and the men that wanted to be with him. And you still chose what you chose. We're here now. Anyway, Cameron, I am so proud of her growth. Like, I am so proud of her growth. How I knew she grew was when she told Zach about Danny. And it wasn't to be messy. It was, that's still your friend. Do you know that almost ruined Cameron and Danny's friendship? Danny deciding to be friends with Zach. And we are finally at a place where Cameron can say, but that's your friend. Check in on her. This is what she's going through. Love it. Rich. Now, Rich got going on. He found out he got sickle cell anemia. Which makes him ineligible to give up his sperm, which I think is kind of sad, because I know she would prefer to have a baby with him. But my thing is this: is Sabrina gonna try to have a baby the natural way and make him the baby daddy? Because if he carried the trait of sickle cell anemia, if she doesn't carry the trait, that baby may never have sickle cell anemia, But that is heavy in the Black community and African American community, so I don't know African community too, but I digress. Tima. I'm going to say this. Tima didn't do it. I don't think Tima stabbed him. I don't. I don't think she stabbed Gary. I still believe it was, not Penelope, child. Jasmine. I still think it was Jasmine. I think it'd be fun if it was Jasmine. Bring her back. We brought back Angel Watt. Okay? He's supposed to be investigating funds, and he investigating murders now. Or attempted. So, I'm just saying. Last but not least, my girl Daniela King. I will say this. I really appreciate the writer's room because I feel like the writer's room, and not no diss to Tyler Perry, I feel like the writer's room is more so for Danny's healing. Because the girl been through. And Cameron was like, hey, that's still your friend. Check on her. Sabrina really came through. I cannot stand Sabrina. But the past 2 episodes, I was like, I actually might halfway like this girl. I might actually halfway like her. Because for seasons, since the first season, we have watched Danny go through the absolute most in our face as an audience. But Andy's crying about this, and Sabrina's whining about that. No, Andy's crying about this. Cameron's whining about that. And then Sabrina throws in her tidbits. And then Danny, who was literally going through the most because she's not crying, she's not whining, she's not, oh, woe is me, what do I do? She's not being lost in the sauce. What she's going through, which is usually the most if we did a scale. It's heavier than the other girls combined. And it's just her. It ended up getting pushed to the side. Season after season after season after season after season after season. And it's sad to watch. Danny literally got SA'd. And the girls knew. And instead of them being like, dang, girl, this is what you're going through. They knew twice. They knew back in college what she went through. They even said it in her face. Look at what those men tried to do to you and look at what they said about you. So you knew she got attacked in college and y'all thought that was something to throw up in that girl's face. And then when she got SA'd as a grown woman, y'all thought that was something to throw up in her face. Like, y'all really think this is a game? Do you understand that people off themselves when they go through stuff like that? And y'all think this is a game to throw up in somebody's face? Like, and then talking about some checkmate. Like, bro, Danny would go through and it would be a joke. Danny had a boyfriend that chained her to the bed and they're like, stay with him. What? Are you freaking kidding me? Like, Danny went through so much. And we watched it as an audience. And her friends never had her back. And it's sad that it took a panic attack for them to get it. It's sad. But at least they finally got it. Because it's sad. Because what if she was having a real heart attack? The fact that the EMTs and the medical assistants had to be involved for them to get it, at least they got it. Because at least she didn't die in the process, you know? And Danny said something, one of the realest things I had ever heard, which is, after a woman has been either, sexually or physically abused, especially by a man, mind you, if she's heterosexual and still like men, because just because that happens, she gets attacked in a certain manner, that does not stop her from being wired to be attracting to men. We're still attracted to them. That's just how that works. And then when that happens, it's like you start to move in a certain way and you start to comply. Are you complying because you just really want to comply and you want to agree with him? Or are you complying because, like she said, I don't want him to beat it at me, or I don't want him to hurt me? Some women will tell you, I didn't want that man to hurt me. Like, that's sad. And then we feel like we the problem. We feel like it's our fault. That's sad. And I am so glad that the episode was kind of wired more so towards everybody checking in on her, because no one checks in on Danny. No one checks in on Danny. And just a side note in the midst of that, I love how Zach came. Zach was so dope this episode. Zach has been killing it. He killed it on Zatima and he killed it on Sistas. He just killed it. He was like, bruh, like, you got a brother for life. Like, I know you don't want to talk about it, but I was at my lowest and you was there for me. And also when she was talking about, Tony, he was like, because he asked, what did Tony say? How did Tony respond? And then she was like, well, I think I jumped too fast with him after Preston. Now, mind you, he rocked with Preston. He in business with Preston. So he loved Preston. But he like, do you really feel that you just looking for a reason to run? So it's like, I'm not going to give you this excuse to get a slide up out of here because you not want an excuse because you're going through. And he like, it's working. It's not going to be pretty all the time. That means therapy is working. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just so grateful for the pen of the writer's room, because the writer's room is very Danny friendly. It is very Danny friendly. And I feel like after a while, Tyler Perry's pen became very Danny, it was very Danny enemy wired. It wasn't Danny friendly. It wasn't. I feel like. I don't know if he was doing that to get certain stories across and he knew Mignon, the actress, can carry them. But still, it was like, dang, what she do? She's sorry. But anyway, y'all, that's been my tidbit on Sistas, season 8, episode 14. Zatima, season 3, episode 16 and 17. No, I'm sorry, 17 and 18. Lord, let me find out. I don't know the episodes. And the Oval, season 6, episode 2. And once again, y'all, I am Angelina Maria. Thank you so much for participating in AM Reviews, and I hope to see you again next week. Okay, bye.